healing. I'd like to introduce an IRN USA reporter, Precious Watson, and Precious recently met a young gentleman at one of the summit incidences, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Kyle Forti, he's actually a student from Hillsdale College in Hillsdale, Michigan. He's double majoring in political science and Christian studies, and he has a new organization called Forti Education, which is an up-and-coming thing that he and one of his colleagues is working on. And Kyle, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Great, great. Kyle, can you go ahead and tell everyone a little bit about Forti Education and just describe that to us?
Of course, yes. Forti Education started with a class that I taught last summer in my hometown of Fort Wayne, Indiana, and we did a week-long camp / seminar class where 3 hours a day we went through and taught speech communications in a special way, both training students how to speak and really the need for proper communication as Christian individuals and really working and striving to give our best to God in that way. And as God continued to work over the year, we've now developed into a program nationwide, and we're launching classes all across the country this summer, as well doing apologetics and as well as our speech communications class once again.
Well, Kyle is the founder and principal of Forti Education, as we had said earlier. And on Kyle's website, we saw where it said, a ministry designed to assist students in pursuing real truth that meets the real needs of real people in real relationships with real answers.
Yeah.
That's great. Kyle, will you voice in a concise thought your Christian worldview?
Sure. Worldview in general is, of course, just simply how one views the world. It's of course, how you think about the world, but also how you react and engage within the world. And really, a Christian worldview is just how you would do that biblically and as an imitator of Christ. So as my Christian worldview, I wouldn't even put the word "my" in front of it. It's simply a Christian worldview striving to uphold those biblical principles and imitating Christ. And of course, this is really something that's not just, a separate part of life, or, well, we have this in life and that in life and this discipline and that discipline, and and over here's the worldview discipline. The worldview that one holds and possesses is something that's inherent within all of those areas of life, in politics, in family, in history, science, you name it. It's something that everyone possesses and should be how we react to all of those areas and how we engage and think about each one.
I see. Now, in your classes, are they about 3 to 4 days? I believe it's almost like a seminar. Is that correct?
Right. They're seminar length. We actually hold classes Monday through Friday, and we start out and just carry through with students both in of course, knowledge and teaching, but then in application and working to engage in the real world, as we do mention on the website.
Now, what would an average day in one of your classrooms be? I'm sure it's a little different every day, but just in case there's some students who are interested, just kind of explain what goes on.
Sure. I'll take the speech communications class, for example. We always start out with prayer and a short devotional, and in the devotional we always try to tie that principle that as we open the Word, as we study, we try to teach that in a way that will tie into the rest of the theme of the day, if you will. Then we talk a little bit about worldview and why communication is important, not just as a speech discipline or how to speak well in front of other people, but how it's necessary to be good communicators for God and for redeeming the culture for Christ. And then we'll actually do some fun and exciting activities. We'll have some what we call of the days, where we look at the news story of the day or the word of the day, just short little things to kind of transition out of the more cultural worldview focus into the actual speech training. And so we get into speech training, and we'll talk about a speech, an aspect of speech, or a type of speech event like persuasive or original oratory or interpretive events. And then we not only learn that, but we'll have a unique kind of exercise to apply. We really try to be creative in our application and engaging with the students. I mean, we're not just up there lecturing the whole time. They definitely have opportunity to get up and be front and center in the stage light presenting, as well as responding to specific questions that we will pose to them throughout the day.
Kyle, this is Ron Allen. I wanted to ask you what it was like around your dinner table with your family. You seem to have a broad interest Yeah, I know that you're a student at Hillsdale. I have a grandson at Hillsdale also.
Oh, wonderful.
And I was wondering where your motivation came from. This is not something where you came from a family that kicked you out in the street at the age of 12 and said, go earn a living.
Right.
Where was your awakening? How was your awakening?
Yeah, I appreciate the question. That's exactly right. You know, mainly I'd be lost without my family. Both my parents have invested everything into me, and I was homeschooled for the most part for my education, for my early education. And what I really had the passion to do was seek to give back, just reinvest what had been invested in me, and just to share part of what had been poured into me for the last 20 years of my life, and then hopefully bring a good return on that investment. As far as my particular interests in political science, apologetics, speech communication, it's funny because my parents, neither one of them were entirely politically minded. I mean, they were definitely up on current events and news and whatnot, but that was just something that I think came through my personal involvement in speech and debate. And then as far as taking and developing things like this into class, I really just wanted a way to share my passions that God had placed on my heart, had really kind of impressed upon me to say, hey, Kyle, are you willing to stand in the gap? Are you willing to stand up as a man in a culture that really is unwilling at times? And I just, for all those reasons, I really felt that because of my, as you mentioned, because of my family, because of my parents, because of that strong support background, we were able to take and develop something strong out of it as a result.
All right. Well, a couple of questions going back to the Forti education. What kind of student are you looking for to come and attend your seminars? What ages or background or anything like that?
Right. We are willing to take young people of any school background. We work within the homeschool community, the private school community, even the public school community. We're really just looking for students between the ages of around 13, and parents usually use their discretion on that. We had some younger students last summer who one of them was even 12 years old. She did a great job. She came along very well, and I think it really helped and benefited her. Up through the age 17 or 18. And as long as they're willing to learn and they're willing to take, we always encourage them to take good notes in class. As long as they want to and are willing to do that, we will definitely work with them. So that's kind of the student that we're looking for.
Okay, now on your website you reference your students' parents. Do you advocate parents' participation in their children's studies with you?
Entirely so, yes, entirely. It's definitely something we like to highlight. We had several parents fit in throughout the week on class last summer, and we see parents as such a necessary component, obviously, and their presence in education and in, obviously, their upbringing. And a strong parental presence will really help the child be able to take it home and apply well within the household, which is really, in a way, their sphere of influence at the time. And so we definitely encourage parents to sit in, and we welcome feedback and criticism or encouragement, whatever they want to offer on our end of it too. So for both the student and for us, we find it very, very helpful.
Now, I'm looking at your schedule here for the summer, and it seems to be quite full, but could you go ahead and tell some of our listeners some of the places that you'll be this summer, just in case we have any people who are interested?
Yes, well, we'll kind of be working our way all over the country. There's more than likely to be one in your vicinity. We're going to start off the summer in Florida, and then we're moving on over to the Midwest. We'll be in Ohio. We'll be in Indiana in May and June. Then we're taking an East Coast trip over New Hampshire and Virginia. And then we'll actually be all the way from East Coast to West Coast. In July, we'll be in Upland and Lake County, California. And then we'll be wrapping it up in hopefully looking at doing one in Tennessee and then again in Indiana if we have the interest. All
right. Now, if people want to register for your classes, how do they go about doing that?
Well, our main source of information is the website, and that is fortieducation.org. And it's pretty simple as far as registration goes. Once you review the information on the website, you can just go to our registrations tab, and it has step-by-step information on how to contact us, how to get your specific needs or requests met as far as how many students you have, if it's several siblings, or if it's just the one student. And we are willing to work with you and